John Kamau. I'm a graduate from Maseno University. Yeah, so I'm a I'm a full stack web developer dealing with a stack Django Vue. That's my stack. Yeah, Django. Stack web. I also do Android by using. That's me. And also, have not been my friend for the longest time, but I gather and I made JavaScript my friend. Vue.js, it was made me feel like, oh, finally, Java friends. My I mean, I like Python. So Kotlin is a friend. It's mainly Java and JavaScript. I don't find. Yeah, so that's me. And today's session, we are dealing with Vuex. That is the title of the meeting. So when we talk of Vuex, that's to do with state management. And someone asked earlier today, what is state? What is state management in websites? And someone answered these, and I think I picked that, and that's the same thing I'll say. Yeah. So state is the data the website is holding, for example, and also we are talking of the status of the data. For example, if you come to a website, we look at did you provide the login credentials? We asked you for a password and the username. Did you? If yes, we log you in. So there is already we have two states of a user: logged in and not authenticated or logged out. So that's a simple state. And also, how to change this state is by providing the details. Yeah, so when we talk of Vuex or state, that's basically what we are talking about. And in the corridors of internet, I found out that Vuex is, let me call it a child of Frax, which the same as Redux for React, because I read that Facebook had a problem trying to monitor the state of users. For example, how many messages do they have? So they, for example, because the number of messages could be changed from the messages panel. It says that for sure there is some data change from the messages. So there was a problem trying to communicate all these components, and as they get complex, you can't really grasp how did the data change, where did the data change, how did the data change, why did the data change. So that's where the management, the state management technologies come in, that is Vuex and Redux. So I don't like a lot of talking, so today we'll do two projects. Yeah, so we'll do a very simple one, which will we'll monitor the state of a number. And also later we will come to Vuex, a practical example. So for today, we will do something to look at the to-dos. For example, you can have a to-do list, then you can monitor the state. Is it complete? Is it not complete? So those are the two projects we will do tonight. Yeah, so let's get our hands dirty. So let's start with the simple one, the one I've said for monitoring the state of a number.
John, I think you should now be able to share your.
So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
It's clear, right?
Yeah, it's visible. I believe everyone can see it.
Yes, yes, you can.
Hello? Okay. So yeah. It's my best friend so far. So let me first show you the finished product. Then we go through the steps on how to achieve the same and explain. So on this one, we will not dwell a lot of time. We'll dwell so much time on the one on the real one. So the development server is starting. Yeah, so you cannot see my screen, right?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. So when you go to the Vuex documentation, yes. So this is the photo I'm looking for. So like I said, so yeah, so a basic knowledge of understanding JavaScript was necessary for this course, and also an understanding of Vue.js. Yeah. So when we look at this image, yeah? So when you look at it, it is let me call it the life cycle of Vuex, or the cycle itself, whatever Vuex has. So we are talking of we are saying actions. We have actions, you have mutations, we have state, we have Vue components, we have a backend API, we have dev tools. Is that clear? So when we talk of Vuex, so the starting point is this state. State is the data we have in our website. So that state will be rendered to the Vue components. The components in Vue.js are, let me call them the building blocks. Yeah, so that's where we have a Vue component. It's made up of a template. So that is the building block. So in a front-end, the modern front-end development, we have components. So you can just take it, put it somewhere. For example, when we create a website, we need a header. That is a header. We have a footer. The header is called navbar in most cases. So we have a header, a footer, and also we have now the body. Now you can say the navbar will be a component, the footer will be a component. Now you just combine them to make a Vue.js website. Yeah, so state is the data, the component is where you'll show the data. Yeah, so we are talking of actions. So the component dispatch actions, and now the actions commit mutations. So the state we have in our website, it can only be changed from the mutations, because those who did biology, you know what is to mutate. To mutate is to change state. Yeah, so, and also you can access the mutations from the dev tools core of of this one. So for example, in this website we have here, we have a store, and in the store we have okay, I'll share this code base to GitHub, and I'll share the link. So let's follow along. So we are talking of a Vuex. We have state as a data account, which is a variable. We are starting at 0. That's why you can see the state is 0 from here. From the other one, it's also 0. So you can see that that's the starting point. We have counter. So then we have things called, we didn't see getters in the lifecycle. We didn't see getters. Nice there. From here. We didn't see getters from here. So that someone would argue they are not part of Vuex. Why learn them? But now when you see what getters are doing, for example, this getter is giving us the value of count. And now that's from there we can access it. So you can see now getters is, for example, we have them in almost all the languages. I used to do them in Java. You have setters and getters. So getters is just holds value. That's why it has a return statement. Yeah, so it's returning state.count. We can see that. So after that, we have now, I've told you that we in Vue.js, yeah, in Vuex, you can only change data in mutations. So mutations mutate data. So state count was 0. Then an increment, we are adding 1. This is count plus plus. You can do plus is equals to add by 2. Count is equals to any value to add by whichever the value we want. But now we are adding with 1. That's why we are saying plus plus. A decrement is state count minus minus. We can do a minus is equals. We can do a minus is equals to 1. Yeah, so that's a decrement. So yeah, so we have said that we have actions that will commit the mutations we have. So for example, we can see we have this is a synchronous increment, which is committing the increment. So we can go to the synchronous counter. You can see this one. So when we have this button increase, when we press, we increase by 1. So you can see that from let's see, from this is the home component. Yeah, so from the home component, that's where we have this synchronous increment. Yeah, so we can see that we have a button which says increase. Do we have, yes, this one. And we have said that when it's pressed, it should do sync increment. Now, when you see that sync increment was an action from the store index.js, you can see this one. We are just committing an increment. So when we do this spread operator, so we can you see, for example, we say that we have getters to store value. That's why we had this state.count. So you can see that we are doing a spread operator to map getters. Now we have the value count. Now also we have in Vue, we have in the, as I said earlier, a Vue component has a template, a script, and a style. You can see, so style is just like we have been doing the normal HTML. Style is the CSS. Script is the JavaScript. Template is the HTML itself. So you can see it's clear from there. So we have we are saying that if this button increase is pressed, we should do a synchronous increment, which was committing the mutation. The increment, which was adding by 1. So if we were to say we add by 2, yes, so is it count plus is equals to 2. You can see now we are increasing by 2. Yeah, so that was just it was a bit slow to sense that. So you can change this to whichever value you want. Also, you can add a payload so that the value will be dynamic. Yeah, so this will be maybe an n. Then you can define where the n will come from. So we've changed that. Now we'll be adding by 2. Yeah, so as we saw here in this photo, the actions are the ones that are communicating with the backend API. So that means for you to access a backend API, you make a request, then you wait for the response. So that is not synchronous, it is asynchronous. So we can see that all the asynchronous operations are done in the actions. No, so because you can see in this photo, there is no other which is communicating to something that would require a wait. Yeah, so we will demonstrate how, okay, using JavaScript, we do the timeout, where we can tell a certain code to execute after a certain number of seconds. Yeah, so we wait. So that is like demonstrating what we mean by actions can do asynchronous tasks. So that, for example, we have now this one, asynchronous increment, where we are saying that add 2 from here after. So when we say 1 second, it might not be very, we might not see it very clearly. So let's do 3 seconds. So when we do this asynchronous increment, we will add 2 after every 3 seconds. So if we go here, you can see it's a reloading. Yeah, so if we go here and we say increase and we wait 1, 2, 3, it changed. If we press it again, we will have to do 1, 2, 3. You see, so if we do a decrease, so we have said 1 second, let's say 4 seconds, and see it works. So decrease 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, it's refreshing. Okay, increase 1, 2, 3. Let's do 1, 2, 3. It's now 4. Decrease 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, but now this one is decreasing by 1 because the decrement was minus, not 2. Yeah, so we can see that in the asynchronous counter, we have changed the value to 3. Said we want to, the value is still 3. Now, can we tell when did the data change? Because now from here, we have a store that has count as 0. But in our interaction with the website, the count changed. Now we have it as 3. Where did it change? We can remember when we were counting the seconds in some asynchronous counter, the state changed. Are we together up to there?
Yes.
Have I lost anyone? Okay, that's okay. So if you are clear up to there, that's okay. So that's what I'm trying to show you that no, from this photo, this is the starting point to understand Vuex. If you understand how these, we have said, let's go step by step. Let's look at state. Okay, state is count 0. Good.
John, we've lost your
to the Vue components. This one, is it rendering the state? Yeah, made some changes, but yes, there you go. So after that, we are saying that. Hello, am I back?
We lost your audio for a couple of seconds.
I'm now back, right?
Yeah, you're back.
Thank you. I'm saying the first step to understanding Vuex is this photo. This photo has everything. That's what I'm saying. Let's look at state. That's why we said the count is 0. And the photo is telling us the state is rendered to the Vue component. Is that true? We go to the Vue component, and yes, you have state rendered from there. So from the code, we go to home.vue. We have this line 4 count being rendered to the Vue component. Then it's telling us, the photo is telling us next, the Vue components dispatch actions. Is that true? We go here and see in the Vue component, we are dispatching actions from this line 21, 22, 23. These two actions, synchronous increment and synchronous decrement in the home.vue. Then the photo is telling us after that, the actions, their work is to commit mutations. Is that true? We come here and look at the actions. For example, a synchronous increment is committing a mutation. Which mutation? This one. Then it's telling us that the mutation mutate state. Is that true? We come and see a mutation increment changing the value of count to +2 of it. So if you understand this cycle, your life becomes simple. Let me call it easier, although it's simple. So, and it's also telling us that, you see, in the actions, that's why we would speak to a backend API. So a backend API is like a weight. It's like a weight. So how do we wait with from a backend API? So we have demonstrated a wait by doing an asynchronous task, where we are waiting for seconds to do the action, to commit the mutation, the increment or the decrement. Up to there, is everything clear? Is the photo clear in the code so far? Someone say yes or no?
So far, so good.
Everything is clear, right? Yeah, so
Yes.
thank you very much. Yeah. So that is the introduction. That is the simple I was talking about, the simple project I was talking about. And also I saw that in a previous session, we did hosting of a website. Yeah, if time allows, we will still at least host, although it's not very big, we'll host either of them, yeah? Yeah, so after that, so that is the first project I was talking about. So now let's go to a project that really does all what this photo is saying. We speak to a backend API, we do all these now. Okay, now let's yeah, so I'm closing this one. I hope as I said, I'll push it to GitHub and share the link so that at least someone can interact with it, understand better. We learn by doing, yeah. And also a piece of advice for the let me call them you see, they say you can't teach all the new tricks, eh? But the new ones you can teach them new tricks. Yeah, so for you to talk of full stack developer, to me, what I understand by that is that you can do a website in a night. Yeah, basically, I can do some websites in a night. If maybe someone told me, can you develop for me a portfolio? I'll do that in a night. Not because I can write the code in a night, no, but because I have my code base. And I know if I need a navbar, I have a code base, I can go and copy a navbar. So I would advise the new programmers to have a code base, yeah. And also you can be documenting what you've done. If you face an error somewhere, then you fix it. You should document so that next time, because I find myself sometimes I have an error, I do a lot of research, I run to Stack Overflow, and then I get an answer. Then I'm like, oh, finally, yeah, this is what I was looking for. And I forget to document. So the next time I find myself in the same error, what do? Go waste time in Stack Overflow and get an answer. So if I have a code base, I'll just remember, oh, there was a time I faced this. How did I fix it? Oh, I recorded it somewhere. I just ran there and get it. So let's develop the habit of having a code base, yeah? So that's a place you can run and, for example, if I'm told to develop an Android app that has a list view, a recycler view, I don't have to remember how to do everything. I suffered when I was trying to learn how to do it. So next time I won't suffer, I just go there, take it, and also you just have to understand how everything works. Then from there you can even copy, because you know that you can't go to Stack Overflow to copy if you don't understand what you're copying. Yeah, so that's just a piece of advice. Yeah, so let's go to the next project. So let's cancel this one. Yeah, so we have this arise for console.log. It's disabled by default, so yeah, but yeah, so let's go through these. So I've said in this project, yeah, so we are going to follow these the whole of this circle. So first thing, it is telling us to also don't worry, we are going to maybe I should have started with that, how to set up a project and install all the dependencies, but we'll do all that. So let's first do this. So we are saying that in this project, we will go through this whole circle. So let's start with these, the backend API. So in this project, I used a backend API. Probably you people have heard about it. I've seen a lot of people like using it in interviews, telling people go to this place, JSON placeholder. Yeah, so this one. So it's let's look at it from here. Yeah, JSON placeholder. Yeah, we are using this one. Yeah, the to-dos. You can see it's but in the documentation, it's called a fake API. I would still call it that because it doesn't persist data, but we'll see these. So we are talking of this is a to-dos app, as I said earlier. So we are saying that we have okay. From this photo, we are saying we are starting from a backend API. Yeah, so the backend API you can see from this line 15. We are doing a get request to JSON placeholder. We are saying from the to-dos, it has a lot of endpoints. Yeah, we have to-dos, we have posts, ISO users. Yeah, so you can check it out. Yeah, so we are limiting it to 10. Yeah, for this sake. So we are doing as I said, in actions. From here, we are saying that a backend API is spoken to using actions. That's why we are in the actions. That's why we are doing an asynchronous fetch to dos, and then we are taking this commit. You can do this as context, then do a context.commit. But since we only need the commit, we don't have to. We can just destructure it and take one value instead of the others because we don't need them. So we are saying of. So it's a response is axios.get. Axios is HTTP. It's like an advanced fetch. Those who do JavaScript know fetch. So Axios is an advanced form of fetch. And by advanced, I mean you can see it's very simple. It has axios.get, that's for getting the values. Axios.post, we know that is for just adding data. Axios.delete for deleting data. Also, we can have axios.patch, put, and all that. Yeah, so we are saying a get request and limit the whatever you give us to 10. Yeah, so and this fetch to do's will commit a mutation. Which mutation? Set to do's. With what data? Response.data. The data we get from these. Are we clear from there? Hello?
Clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So I wanted us to follow this cycle, but we might break from it because by nature we should start from state, then we go all that. So we are saying that the state, we are starting with to-dos, which is an empty array. And we are going to the getters. We have a getter called all to dos, which does what? Which gives us state dot to dos. Where does the to dos come from? So we have the mutation. Which mutations? Set to dos, which says you need to give us a data to dos for you to set to dos. And we are using the get. What we are doing is setting to dos with the data we are getting from this response. We are sending a response to JSON placeholder. What response do we get back? The data in that response. I hope you are good up there. So yeah, so that set to dos, as we have seen that. So we are saying that we have actions which commit mutations. The mutations is changing data. We started with state as an empty array. We have a mutation called, what is the name of that mutation? Set to dos, which does what? Which takes data and then state.todos sets it to that. So state.todos was an empty array, but now when we commit a set to dos mutation with data, it changes. And that's why in here we have the to-dos, because this is then in this to-dos, the components to-dos.view, we can see that we are mapping map getters and map actions. When we do the map getters in the created hook of Vue.js, we are doing this dot fetch to dos. So which getter are we talking about? All to dos. And all to dos, so we are saying that we are doing a fetch to dos, which is the action associated with the get method of Argos. So we are getting from here. So I hope it's clear that from this to-dos.view, the component, we are dispatching actions from this line. The actions fetch to dos, the read to dos, and update to dos. But for now, we are dealing with fetch to dos. So in the getters, we are having all to dos, which in the created hook, we are just committing a fetch to dos. That's why we can, when we go to the to dos, this one, you can see them from here. Now you can see it. I don't know which language is this. I hear it being called Rorema Ipsam. Yeah, so this language. So from when we asked for the to-dos, you can see now these are the things we are getting. So if you were to look clearly at this, you would find them here. Here. So I hope that's clear up to wherever we are having an action of fetch to dos, which is committing add to do mutation, which is changing the state of to dos, which was an empty array in the beginning, but now it's changing to the data we received from the backend API. I hope this cycle is starting to make sense. Someone?
It makes sense to me. I don't know
someone else to.
Yeah.
Anyone who can see now the cycle is starting to make sense? Okay. Yes. So that is as far as displaying the to-dos is concerned. Yeah. So let's talk of the delete to do. Yeah. So on delete to do, we are for us for us to delete a to-do, we need to call actions.delete, and we are saying this is the, now we want to delete a certain ID. Yeah, so because for delete, we need to tell the API, what are we deleting? We are deleting number 4, number 1, number 3. Yeah, so that's why we need these ID from here. So that is committing remove to do, and the remove to do is doing what? Is so also when we did a new to do, we haven't done that. We have only set to do's. Let's talk of new to do. First word a to do, we need to post this, the post one. So we need to post a title, and by default completed false. Yeah, so that is add to do, which is committing new to do, and we can see that from the mutation new to do, we are getting the state and the to do. Then we are doing state.todos.unshift. Unshift is a brother of push, but now push adds at the end. Those who have done data structures, you can know the stacks. So push adds at the last, and shift adds at the beginning. So for example, if I was to come here and add a to do and say learn Vuex. So when we submit, it's added at the beginning. You can see that. That's the difference between unshift and push. Push would have been added here. Yeah, so I hope that's clear. Yeah, so after that, we are doing a remove to do. Remove to do's. Which to do are we removing? We need to filter the to do with that ID. Then when we filter it, when we have it, we subject it to a delete actions.delete. Now we will delete the one with that ID, the one we have filtered out. And we can see, let's go to do's. You can see there is a button. We have said an an icon, because we are using font awesome. We are doing a trash alt. This is the whatever that's saying, the trash alt. So when it's clicked, we delete a to do. Which to do? The to do with the ID we have selected. So when we come here, for example, click that one, it's deleted. So that's how we are deleting a to do, using the trash from the using the delete by this is basically committing the delete to do, dispatching, that is the delete to do action, which as we have said, which the delete to do commits a mutation remove to do. I hope now this cycle is making enough sense. So for example, we started with an empty array of to-dos. Then the data or the state of the array was mutated by mutations, the fetch to-dos mutation, which was committed with the fetch to-dos action from the which took data from the backend API. Yeah, so the Vue components, we have seen them dispatching the actions, and we can see the state being rendered. For example, this is a Vue component with the to-dos, which is state being rendered. So when you talk of Vuex, it's a matter of, have you understood this cycle? Does it make sense to you? Can you use it? Is what you are doing talking the same language with the cycle I'm talking about? So when we talk of update to do's, so the update to do's is not doing so much. It's just changing the state of the to do's. Is it completed or is it not? So when we go to the to-dos here, we have a div which holds the to-do, where we have a to-do.title and the value of the to-do, whether it's completed or not, it is demonstrated by a color. And in the beginning, so those who have done Vue.js, when you are starting, that's where we learn how to bind classes. So we are having the style here, style this one. We are saying it's scoped, meaning it's only works in this component. So we are talking of let's look at the most important part. We are talking of the complete to-dos will be green. The incomplete ones will be red. So you can, and also we are saying that, you see the update to do is being invoked on a double click. And when we double click, we are just changing the completed status to whatever it's not. So for example, if this is complete, if we double click, it changes to you see. So if we double click this, it changes. So we double click that, it changes. Double click that, it changes. So I hope you can. That's why after you have said on double click, we change the value of the to do. So I hope you can see now when we talk of Vuex, yeah. So it's a matter of as I'm saying, this cycle, this one. So if you understand this, and now after understanding this photo, you go to the two examples of talking about, that is the to-dos and also the counter. The counter will be a very simple guide and introduction, and you'll understand how everything works, and also in a simple way. And then after that, you can go to the advanced one. Now this one for the to-dos, where we will we are even accessing a backend API. But now when you go to your to whatever you are going to do, I expect you to go and instead of using the fake REST API, the JSON placeholder, you can even decide to use a real one. You can use Firebase, it works. You can create your own backend with Django and maybe host it on Heroku, and then you can access it. You can do it with Laravel or whichever backend language you like. Those who do JavaScript, the full stack ones, you can do it with those who do ManStack, Maven stack for the for JavaScript. So also Node.js, Express, you can, so whichever backend API you use. So this is the cycle you'll have to use. And also just remember, for you to access the backend API, it must be an asynchronous call. And also, and we have said that that happens in the actions. We have demonstrated that in the counter, and also we have demonstrated in the to-dos this project. So I hope up to there we are clear, and we can at least understand what is Vuex, what is state, are we really changing state? What is changing state? Can we understand? And I hope up to there we are good, unless there's any questions. So we still have some time. So so we can try and for the sake of those who missed the hosting one, so we can try and host the counter. I hope that's okay. Can we do that?
Yeah, I think we can go ahead. We have until 9:30.
Okay. So we can. So I hope on the explanation on Vuex we are good.
For me, it's good, but I am hoping if anyone has a question, they can just ask. Come on,
we have
to speak up. You can just type it in the chat. Yeah.
John.
Let's see. Yes, yes, Anto.
Questions.
Okay, go ahead.
So said I wanted to run a function only once. Can you demonstrate that
Yes.
in Vue?
Yeah.
Demonstrate that in Vue.js. Let's say I wanted to run a function only once. Say for example, I want only to fetch the data once at the root level of my component, so that when other components within the project are executed, they don't call the primary function. So
yeah, that's why I'm. Go ahead.
So say for example, you are fetching your data from JSON placeholder, yes?
Yeah.
From where you're fetching JSON placeholder, say you had another component within this component that was making changes to states. How do you ensure that it does not call this function again? You're not fetching twice.
So whatever I'm saying, yeah.
Yes.
So you see, when we are talking of state, yeah, the most important thing is to understand. You are saying that maybe a component is changing the state of the to-dos. Let's say let me understand that's what you're asking, right?
No. Said you had
okay.
You have state for everything. You have state for you have one. We understand that state contains.
I have one store.
Yeah, you have one store for everything. Yes.
Yes.
So within this state, you don't want to be changing it now and then. Say, for example, now you have something that is accessing part of the state inside a component. How do you make sure that once that part of the state is updated, another part does not re-render?
Okay.
Hello?
Let's take one component. No, let's talk of this. You see this one?
Yes.
Yeah. So when you want to do something that is for this, you see, when we talk of a store, yeah, that's we are storing the project level data. So if you want to store a component data,
yes,
you don't have to do it in the store. You do it in the methods. So that's where you can. So when we talk of Vue.js, yeah, you see in this script, we have a lot of things. We have methods. We have computed properties, and among the properties of this script is a property called data. Do you get my point?
So it's part of props.
Yeah. So that property called data. That is the property that will deal with component level. Let me call it data or state, whichever. You get my point? Yeah. So when we have a project level data, that's okay. I started by saying about Facebook, yeah, and saying that you see the charts, the number of charts, they are changing from the receive charts section, send charts component. So how do we make sure when you are at home, you can see that a component that is not home changed the number of charts? Do you get my point?
Yes, I get you.
Yeah, so that's why we are saying. So that was the basics of or whatever we are doing today. That is dealing with the state that is that will change in very many components. Do you get my point? Because if we are not using very many components, so for example, there have been the old forms, the props, and that is, there are some events you can how to speak from to child components from parents. So you see, when we use props, during the process of propagation, we might be forced to take a prop to a place it was not. Okay, for example, if you want to take it from a grandchild component to a parent component, I'll have to go to come from the grandchild to the child, to the parent, now to the child. Do you get the? So you might be forced to take this prop to a place it's not necessary. You might even find you changed it, you see? And this was the confusion that was all over. We can't tell where exactly did it change. Is it in the grandchild, in the parent, or in the child itself? No, this was the reason why we have now a state level state. Do you get my point?
Okay. Oh, sorry. Continue. I see a question on the chat.
Yeah, so I hope that's clear. Let's see if there is let's see the question from the chat. Okay. I hope, Anto, we are clear, right?
Yeah. Maybe you can help me by you have the Vue plugin on your browser.
Yeah.
Can you just
so
a little
what
bit
I'll do
from there?
Yeah.
Just a peek. You can click it. Just
from here.
No. Here at the top navigation bar. To the side, you have it.
This one.
Just click it. Dev tools. It's in dev tools. Don't worry. We shall look into it later.
Okay. So let's. There's a question. There's a question here. Let me see the question. It says, I think the store contains data that is shared within the application. If we want data that doesn't necessarily rely on the Vuex store changes, we can use it within the component structured. The this store is accessible via the store standard API. Yeah. So you can see what John Philip is saying is Edmush. It's basically what Antoy was explaining.
Yeah. I think the question, I think maybe I framed the question in another way so people don't get the question that I'm presenting. The question was, say for example, you have in your current state, you only have three things that are important. That is the updates, the creation, and you can look at it just in the.
We have. So these from
go
here.
to VS Code.
Okay. Yeah. From here. Okay.
So we have fetch to dos at the top.
So we have the state to dos only. The mutations.
The actions.
We have
at the bottom. There's a place you have three things. That is
we have mutations. So we are saying the set to dos.
Yes.
Adding a new to do, removing a to do, and updating a to do. Is that
updating? Yeah. So you have three things here. Yes.
Yes.
So say for example, now you're dealing with a bigger project. Yeah. That has different levels of state. You get.
Yeah.
So with these different levels of state or states that are only accessible to one point, say for example, you have authentication.
Yeah.
You only want to authenticate once at the root level. So you don't want to be calling the authentication function every time. You get?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So that was the point I was making.
Yes.
I know within React, this issue disturbed me for quite a while. Within React, there was an issue whereby this state I don't want to call it multiple times. I only want to call it one time. So I use a hook. It's called the use effect hook, where it only runs once when the component renders. So I'm wondering, in Vue.js, how do I make sure that a function only runs once.
Could I try
That's
and answer that question?
Okay.
Try.
Okay, so I think the question has like two aspects. There's a question of the store lifecycle itself, and then the question of, say, the Vue component lifecycle. So I imagine a situation where maybe you're getting an access token and you need to use it through the whole lifetime of the application, and maybe delete it when there's a logout, but you want it to persist for as long as that session token is valid, right?
Yes.
Yes. So maybe at least how I would do it is that maybe if like I'm fetching something to populate, say a list of to-dos, maybe I already have my token and I want to populate, say, a new component that I am rendering on the page with a list of to-dos, then I would maybe call a lifecycle hook for components called, I think, created or mounted. And then once I call that, inside of that function, then I would call maybe a state action that would then fetch the to-dos, put them inside of my state, and then I guess proceed with the rest of the life cycle of the application. So once stuff shows up on my screen, then it's going to have the current state of that state, which is changed by a method triggered by a component lifecycle called maybe mounted or created, which runs one time when the application is starting up. And maybe unless unless maybe you render that component severally, it only gets called once. So maybe you'd call mounted in the root component of the application and then populate your store in that one place. And maybe call refresh whenever you need to do a refresh using maybe a fetch new to-dos action, right? But then I think I would solve that by combining basically the component lifecycle and the Vuex store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So in Vue, the component lifecycle you're referring to is called?
I'm not sure the exact name, but I don't know. Maybe John, could you pull up the component lifecycle so we just take a look at that? So I think there's mounted, there's created, there's I'm forgetting the others because I don't use them that much, but I think it's just
created and mounted are the most used. Yeah.
I think that first diagram.
Yeah, it's this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's before mount, before create, and at each of, I think if you've done Android, you will get like the whole, I personally relate the whole reactivity thing, not from a React perspective, but from an Android perspective. So it's basically the different life cycles that you would find in an application, and Vue has its own set of them.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, so from these, you can see, I think the name was better, the photo. How do we make this bigger?
That's usually the one you find in the official documentation, actually.
Yeah. It's even getting smaller.
Maybe
don't worry, Shege. So this part is very crucial. I wanted to point it out because it does create issues. Say, for example, you're building an application have you guys, I know you guys have interacted with Firebase before. So if you're using Firestore and not the old data store. So if you're using Firestore, you know that it tends to have very many reads and writes. So when you're having you're calling the state every now and then, your writes go up. So you have, for example, an application, you're only testing it, then you find that you have 10K reads or 10K writes because of a structure of your code.
So, hello, Anthony.
Yeah, we can continue, Shege.
Yeah, so you can look up from the life cycle for Vue, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so was there any other question before we go to the at least hosting the any of the two whatevers? Yeah, so a quick vote. Which one do we host? I take the first answer.
To do.
Okay, that wins. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, that's what we call democracy. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so let's I hope you can all hear me.
Yes.
So let's create a new account. Oh, okay, a new repository, sorry.
Account.
To do. I said I said account anyway. To do let's call it to do's app. Huh?
Yes.
All to do's was available. Okay, that's okay. So okay. So we can we can add that it me. Let's create the repo. So it was created. Let's Anto, I know you don't like Windows, eh?
I'm on Windows right now. What are you talking about? Have you used the GitHub CLI? Have you used the GitHub CLI?
Not yet.
You can create a repo directly on your command prompt.
Oh.
Yeah, you just type in gh repo create and you are done.
Mbona sioni penye nini hu inakloniwa?
Click got it. Iko tu hapo. Click got it. Imefichwa hapo.
I think imefunikwa na hiyo notice.
Oh. Yeah.
Check, you only have 57 contributions.
Where?
Mwambie unapanga.
Is it not? Anto?
Yes.
Anto, there is someone who said, someone said, and I'll quote.
Quote.
There was someone who was looking at, let's use HTTPS. There was someone who was looking and saying, and we should range developers with whatever they have created, or how many commits they have done. And someone else told them, the more the commits, the more the mistakes. So those of us who don't do mistakes,
you're one of them.
We don't have a lot of stress. Yeah. So anyway, I've done the. So you'll bear with me. This is the process I used to host the things to GitHub. Yeah, it might not be the best. Okay, let me go. Check it.
Yeah. Shege.
Anto,
This is heresy.
I know it's
What for Windows? Hey,
I know it's worrying, eh?
yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this might take ages. Anyway, this is what we do, yeah?
What
It's
are
been
you
such
doing?
a long time.
Welcome to Windows. Hey,
And then now that
host kadogo mkakataa.
now that you have like a bunch of tiny files, it's going to take it's going to take forever.
Oh, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
You see,
You could have
the machine
initialized.
is
You could have
strong.
initialized the repo directly on that project or on that folder, and you do.
You had a README file.
He did add a README file. Oh my. Shege.
So
You have now to pull, then you push. Why?
I think he's got this. He's onto something.
Hey, how big is this thing? Kwa niliweka nini hapa ndani?
So unajua
This is worrying.
It was just your plain.
So, hey, watu wengi, this is too much. Oh. Anyway, so the process of okay, let's go to Netlify first, as we wait for that.
Okay.
Yeah. So in case it takes a lot of time, I think I have one on GitHub. I have whatever in GitHub. So let's go here. My machine is hanging. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, sir. So, have we all ever seen these?
The problem is with I/O. When you're reading and writing and you're accessing Google Chrome, it will create issues. But there's a bottleneck.
Yeah. So I'm talking of Netlify.
Netlify, yes.
Have we all used it?
I'm speaking on my behalf.
Oh, okay.
Speaking for myself,
you've used it.
This is the first time
you have also
Netlify.
Oh,
I didn't get a chance to attend the previous meetup, so.
And Heroku, have you used Heroku?
Have you used Heroku?
Yeah, I've used Heroku. How do they compare?
So Netlify is for hosting front-end sites. It's easier than Heroku.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some of the things.
Also on the differences, I believe Netlify has starter packs for Gatsby. For example, you wanted to build a Gatsby site or Next.js. They do have those on hand. They do have also different tool sets for every need. Unlike Heroku is mostly focusing on the deployment side of things instead of the configuration, like Netlify.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a product under Netlify called Netlify CMS. So under that CMS, you can create a React one, a Gatsby one, and create pages. There's also a template there.
So okay, just maybe a quick one. How much would it maybe take to host a Vue.js site for a month? Maybe this to-do site, as basic as it is.
How much in terms of cost?
Like
in terms
what
of time,
in terms of cost?
Cost is free. It's free for starters. That is for applications that don't have a huge amount of traffic. I think if you pass certain threshold, that you might move now to one of the business pricing options that they have. I believe it's about $7 a month. I don't know.
Can you see my screen? You can see I have a bandwidth of 100 GB. Yeah.
Imagine.
Yeah.
And they are saying I've used 0. Yeah. Anyway, life must move on. So in terms of time, so we can see this one is saying it 3 years remaining. Yeah. So what we will do, it is saying 8 years remaining. So what we will do, I have a Vue.js site on GitHub. We will host any of them.
Yeah, you can
so we say new.
Continue.
Yeah, so we have said you just say new site from you've seen where we've gone, new site from GitHub. Yeah, this one, new site from Git. Then they're asking us which Git option do you want to use, or which do you use, GitHub, GitLab, or Bitbucket. Yeah, so as basic as I am, I use GitHub. I'm heading to the others soon. Okay, so for example, my Bitbucket is the busy one. I don't use GitHub very much. So it is saying I'm authorized.
You have activity on GitHub.
Yeah.
That's why you have no activity on GitHub.
I have, there were 57. Yeah, I don't do much GitHub. So anyway, yeah. So these these are the repos. Yeah, this one should be a Vue.js one. This one best. Also, the to-dos should be here. This is worrying. Anyway, let's host this one.
Crypto and Sans.
So you choose the. Well, leave Crypto Sans alone. Yeah. So the owner is me. Yeah. So after that, so this is where we come and say you are being asked for the build command. Simply, which command do you run to build your project? You write it here. Is that true for the Vue.js people? And the publish? For the React people. I think they are okay. I think that's it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so what I'm not sure is this, because I don't. Okay, let's see. I don't know how best looks. Whatever I'm calling best. Maybe it has some. It needs some slash or something. Yeah. Let's see how it's structured. Okay. Oh, ndio mnaangalia. So let's look at the repo call best. Oh, they're saying it's Python.
Python.
Should it? Huh?
I wonder what happens when you run npm run build on a Python application.
You'll crash the Netlify fly. You create an error page.
So. Oh, best was not JavaScript. Huh? So I think I have Vue try. Yeah, this one should be JavaScript.
Or maybe you deploy to different branches other than master.
Yeah. Ngani imefunguka. Mbona kitu inajifinya?
Shege, I see you're getting good at this.
Huh? Anto?
Yes.
You've seen like with the time of
yeah, with you're progressing well. You're progressing well.
After saying JavaScript is a joke for a very long time, eh?
Imagine.
Anyway, oh, okay. Okay. This one wasn't. What am I saying? It wasn't JavaScript. It wouldn't run in Getusumbua. So watch and after Vue try that one. Yeah. So we have 5 minutes, huh?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's in the second, whatever, the second page. You can say have 2 pages and all.
You have 2 pages?
Yes, of GitHub.
Ah.
Of activity.
You have 44 projects.
When did you join GitHub?
Shege, you know, I joined the GitHub before you.
Okay, let me not
I
argue. Yeah?
checked. You joined on
the problem
you
was
joined on February 2017. I remember.
Okay, so this is do you now see? Now we do npm run build, then we do a dist, then we deploy site. You just it's that simple, by the way.
And it will be live for everyone. Yes, you can send the link on the chat.
Yeah. Yes. So it's saying deploying your site. Oh, and I hope it's a godly website. I don't remember what is in that site. It should be something good.
If it's not, we'll have a discussion on free speech.
Yeah?
If it's not, we'll have a discussion on free speech.
It must be godly. Yeah, oh, it's still deploying.
The first time I used Netlify, I was amazed by how simple everything is. Like, yeah.
And
Netlify is hello?
Yes, John.
Someone was talking about Netlify and how good it is.
Yes, it is Philip.
Philip.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah.
Oh, so today, finally it has finished. And it's saying it's a wonderful burden. Eh? Yeah, so let's change the name to something. Yeah, so let's change the site name.
You guys can also try Shege.
Yes?
I'm saying people can also try the automatic build process. Say, for example, you have connected with Netlify and you link it with your repo such that when you when you have a pull request, when you match a pull request, the update is reflected directly to your website.
Hello?
Hello.
Anthony?
Yes.
Anthony?
I can hear you.
So what were you saying?
I was saying that you can use automated builds whereby when you merge a pull request on GitHub, the update reflects directly to your website.
To Netlify?
Yeah. So it runs this process. Yeah, it runs this process of building again when it detects you have merged a pull request.
Oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, so we can see the project is already live. Eh?
Send the link on the chat we test on our end.
I know you don't trust me, but no problem. Let me put it there. Yes. Yeah, that is the link. Then sans. Yeah, it was at stock. I was trying to create a website for stocks, stock exchange. Yeah, so
how did it go?
let me see if it's here. We can see the stocks. Oh yeah, you can see I was selling BMW, Apple, Facebook, Google, Twitter, Maseno, GitHub, Lijusa, and we have Kamau and Sons. Yeah, it's so for Kamau and Sons, we can see the shares are even more costly than BMW. So anyway, that so I used to maybe let me buy 2 shares. You can see the funds are reducing.
Mm.
And now I can see now I have bought 2 Apple. Now I can sell them, you see? And so if I sell them, the funds go back, the portfolio have nothing, the stocks are back. So that was it was so I'll share the links to the 2 sites we used for today. And also you have followed how to host a Vue.js project. Was it that hard?
No. You
Yeah,
made
so
it look
anyway, I hope yeah, it looks very simple, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I hope the session helped someone. And unless there's a question, anyone. Also, Anto.
Yes.
Also, on your question, the one on the how to handle basically authentication in single page applications.
Yeah.
That
SPA.
seemed to be the main concern.
The main concern was the life cycles, because I ran into an issue. I almost
So
had
the best thing, yeah. So the best thing to deal with the life cycles
Mm-hmm.
is change whatever you are dealing with to find a way to change it to state. Do you get my point?
I was using states. I was using Redux. So I was just pointing out the issue of replication of data.
Yeah. So if you use it, if you do a very clear or let me call it a clean architecture of
the issue was structure. Yes.
Okay, so if you have the right architecture of state management, it works. Yeah. So anyway, thank you very much for those who joined, and I hope at least we learned something. Yeah. So so whatever to take home is the photo I was referring to. So just make sure whatever you are doing at that photo are the same thing. Yeah. So that you will find that, oh, after all, I can do actions, mutations, I can change states. So that photo is the bottom line. And also you can visit Vuex, their website. It's a very good one, very user-friendly. Yeah, so let's do this. So unless there's a question, I'm done.
Yeah, unless someone has a question for John, we can wrap it up at that. So I personally enjoyed the session a lot. So asante sana, John. I think it's a really nice end of the year presentation. At least watu waende kama wanajua kustore vitu na wanajua kudeploy. So personally asante for your bonus. ya Netlify.
Sawa. I appreciate.
Thank you, Kamau and Sons. Thank you very much.
Philip, I
Most
can
welcome.
stop recording right now.
Next time I'll have the Sons on board.
Yeah. Hiyo kampuni tunaiombea mema.